How are you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another beautiful Zombies commentary. So many of you have been asking me questions about the Shadows of Evil storyline, and some are a little bit basic, or some are fairly broad, and what I realized was not many people have a good grasp of what is actually going on within Shadows of Evil. Probably because this map is such a big divergence from anything we've seen in the zombie storyline beforehand. There are a lot of new characters being introduced, and there are a lot of new concepts being presented to the community, and unless you're really paying attention, it's pretty easy for it to go over your head. So that's what I thought I would do with this video, bring you guys a complete run through of the entire Shadows of Evil storyline. I should note though that today's presentation of the storyline is a bit of an overview. This is for people who have jumped in and are really confused by all the tentacles that are just everywhere in this map. This video serves the purpose of giving you all the information you need to know to understand what is going on, and also take things to the next level as you begin to delve into the more secretive side of the story. I will be briefly touching on many of the deeper mythoses and Lovecraft references which clutter this story-rich map. So if that's what you're here for, then be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be delving into that in a lot of future videos, but I'm also going to be talking about it in this video, so make sure you stick around too. Without further ado though, let's begin. Shadows of Evil begins April of 1942 in the troubled Morgue City. The map very quickly introduces us to our four sinners through an intro cinematic. First is Jessica Rose. Jessica is an aspiring actress and burlesque dancer. In an effort to climb the ladder of fame, she began to have an affair with the producer. This affair was caught by a reporter who took photos of it. The reporter then used the photos to blackmail Jessica. She worried that these prints would leak and it would ruin any sort of movie deals that she was trying to secure. She then took matters into her own hands and invited the reporter over to make amends. Once over, she handcuffed him to the bed and murdered him with a pair of rusty scissors. We're then introduced to Detective Jack Vincent. Jack, after serving under the Morgue City Police for several years, was exposed to some of the worst citizens this city had to offer. He then succumbed to the terrible, turned his cheek away from justice, and tarnished the badge he swore to protect. Jack became one of the most corrupt cops within Morgue City. With the election of a new mayor though, Morgue City began to crack down on the corruption within its borders. Jack needed to cover his tracks quickly, or the trail might lead back to him. He reached out to his accomplice in the corruption and had him meet with him. He then murdered him cold-blooded in the streets in order to prevent any sort of things from reaching him. Next, we are presented Floyd Campbell. Floyd is a boxer driven by two things: the debts he owes and the lust for the title. Poor investments and bets resulted in Floyd owing money to a number of very dangerous people. It had been 18 months since Floyd last stepped in the ring, but it was time for him to pick up the gloves once again. He challenged the number one contender, Tony King, to a match. He encouraged the men he owed money to bet heavily on him, promising he won't lose. Floyd gave himself a competitive edge by hiding brass knuckles in his gloves. As much as he wanted to win, he wanted to hurt the King. Floyd won the match, but he left King bloody on the brink of death within the ring. Our final sinner is Nero Blackstone. Nero is one of the most interesting of our sinners. He is a failing magician. Poor show after terrible performances tarnished his reputation as a magician. This led Nero to explore a darker side of magic. He began to delve into the world of black magic, but he was then haunted. The Shadow Man infested his dreams and was able to manifest himself into their world. We learned this from one of Nero's in-game quotes.
This was the one book that I was afraid to read, the one book that gave me nightmares. Even now, I just can't.
While all this is going on, Nero's wife began amassing large sums of debts. Unable to pay them back, Nero became desperate. He murdered his wife so that he can collect her life insurance and pay off his debts. With the Shadow Man now in their world because of the dark magic that Nero had explored, he witnessed every one of our sinners' misdeeds. He chose them because of their sins and sent them to a new universe with a city eerily similar to theirs. As our team wakes up and comes to their senses, they realize something's not right. Their hands are marked with the symbol of the beast, and they have the ability to morph into a squid-like monster. They're in Morgue City, however, this city is infested with zombies, abandoned and littered with these new, strange, bizarre plants. The Shadow Man soon makes his presence known to our characters and promises them salvation from their sins. He tells them that he's seen all of their misdeeds and promises to lead them to a better path. He warns them though of the gatekeepers and their plan to invade this realm and reap an apocalypse upon this world by summoning their overlords.
These are our true enemies. We must hurry. The Keepers seek to hasten the collapse of the dimensions. The Keepers corrupt and distort reality, providing a means for their masters to overwhelm this world. We must remain vigilant. The Keepers will try to thwart us at every turn. The Keepers will keep coming. They will not rest until this world belongs to their overlords.
The Shadow Man claims there's only one way to defeat them. Complete the 4 rituals and collect the 4 gate worms. But our team must first find the summoning key, the most powerful artifact in the universe capable of opening up large interdimensional gateways. They then need to find the items from their past and sacrifice the lives of those who were in their previous lives. They manage to complete all 4 rituals and collect the worms. At every turn though, the gatekeepers appear and attempt to stop our crew. Once that's complete, they go below Morgue City and they find an abandoned subway station. The walls begin to collapse and this reveals a massive summoning room. They place the 4 gateworms on their stands and the summoning key upon an altar. Once the final ritual was complete, a massive interdimensional gateway was opened. The Shadow Man reappears and reveals his true nature. You see, he was a member of a race known as the Apothic Ins. The Apothic Ins are a race of people who believe to be from a lost city or possibly extraterrestrial beings. They are in the same vein as Vrelya, however, they're evil. This entire time, he was deceiving our crew. He claimed that the gatekeepers were attempting to summon their overlords and reap an apocalypse, when really, it was him trying to stir an apocalypse. He was the true evil, and the gatekeepers were really the good guys. This entire time, throughout much of the zombie saga, we've been worried about a greater evil, something far more powerful than either Richtofen or Samantha, and Shadows of Evil reveals to us that it was the Apothic Ins. They were this greater evil. The gatekeepers, though, were trying to stop us because they were the good guys. They understood the power of the summoning key and knew how evil the Apothic Ins were. It was their duty to protect the key and maintain order within the universe. While all this is going on, though, the Shadow Man abandons our crew with the summoning key and leaves us to be killed by the hordes of zombies. A large kraken, possibly Cthulhu, appears above the city and starts to reap an apocalypse. After realizing the error of their ways, our team begins to work with the gatekeepers to undo the apocalypse. They first discover the swords of the Apothic Ins. These are an ancient Apothicin relic, and they upgrade them to their full elemental power. They then find the flags of the gatekeepers and use them to harness more power. They then bring this power and transfer it over to the gatekeepers in an effort to make them stronger. With his new firepower and energized gatekeepers, they re-enter the summoning room. They summon the Shadow Man and begin to battle him. Eventually, our team wears down the Shadow Man and he stumbles back onto the summoning key, where he is then sucked in and killed much in the same way that we sacrifice people during the rituals. With the Shadow Man now dead, the world is different for our characters. An infection is slowly beginning to develop within them, and they can become the Beast for indefinite durations of time. Using their electrical powers as the Beast, they overload the train system. With the help of the gatekeepers, they then create a beam of energy and use that energy to defeat the Kraken engulfing Morgue City. The great evil has officially been vanquished from this realm, and the apocalypse, like the achievement states, is averted. The gatekeepers realize our crew is better suited to guard the summoning key. As a reward, they are gifted the key, although Richtofen steps in right at the last moment and steals the key from the Apothic Ins. He then runs off through an interdimensional rift. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Shadows of Evil storyline. However, this is just the surface of the story. If you begin to dig deep within the secrets that this map holds, you'll uncover much greater things than you realize initially. Radios on the map indicate that Morgue City may not have always been a normal city. These pods, which have sprouted up from the ground, are not exactly strange to many of the citizens living in the city, and some believe that below Morgue City, the forces of good and evil have been battling for centuries. This would of course be the Apothic Ins and the Gatekeepers, and this would explain the massive summoning room below the city, and there's also depictions of these battles on the walls of the summoning room. What catches many players off guard is the number of tentacles in this map. The beasts, the kraken, the margwa, the pods, just to name a few examples. This is because the map is based on the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft is famous for writing The Call of Cthulhu and creating the entire Cthulhu mythos. Everything in this map can be traced back to Lovecraft and his creations. One more interesting thing to note about the Shadows of Evil storyline is that Morgue City at first appears to be just a recreation of our character's city, but in their own universe. There may be more to it though. Our first clue is that the city references a lost city. We can see it on billboards. Coordinates are also found on the map that point to a place known as Non-Metal, which is believed to be the remnants of a lost continent or an ancient city. This city is believed to be the sister city of Atlantis, and maybe where the Apothic Ins come from. It's here that many draw the theory and conclusion that Morgue City is really Atlantis, and this may then play into many of the tentacles we see. However, it seems as though Atlantis has been changed to look like Morgue City, maybe so that it's more familiar to our characters and less sort of like daunting. This, ladies and gentlemen, though, has been the overview of the entire Shadows of Evil storyline. Like I said, I'm leaving a bit of information out, and I'm not diving as deep as I possibly could. Otherwise, this video may be 20-30 minutes long, but the idea is that you can watch this video and have a pretty good understanding of everything that is going on, so then you can start to dig deeper for yourself and uncover many of the mysteries that lurk within this map. And trust me, there is a lot more to learn. And if you'd like to, please do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more, as I will personally be really going through a lot more of this stuff in future videos. And I'm sure if you enjoyed this video, you'll like what's to come, so please do subscribe. I'm gonna go though, have a great day, and bye.